Our biggest question right now is whether to try for another baby. The obvious emotional answer is yes. I wanted a baby my whole life and it's exceeded expectations. However, I can't shake the feeling that having another baby would ruin our lives. I also don't understand how people make it work financially. We've made $2,000 a month daycare work comfortably, but $4,000 a month would throw us right back into living above our means. Question: is it possible, one, to have a life with more than one kid that feels genuinely sustainable and joyful rather than overwhelming? Two, how are other people doing this? Three, people with far less money and resources make two kids work. Am I missing something? Signed, Chloe. Welcome to Rich Mom, Poor Mom, where we discuss motherhood from two different perspectives. I'm Precious, a real estate professional in the St. Louis area with two lovely kids, and I'm the mom that's making ends meet in this economy.
And I'm Jamelle. I'm a Harvard PhD, working in tech. I'm the mom of two, and I live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey. So let's start off with the topic of the day. Can I afford another kid? And I feel like we touched on this a little bit, but I think it warrants going into detail because a lot of people seem to be struggling with whether this is going to happen or not, whether it's worth it. It might be due to the economy.
For sure.
I know that me having two boys, people always ask me, "Oh, do you want to try for another one?" Because, of course, naturally I would be searching for a girl.
Okay.
And my answer is always of a strong no. Like, honestly, I'm a little offended. Like, you don't see how exhausted you don't see it in my eyes how tired I am. Like, if I
look like I can have another kid?
Do I look like I need another child? Like if I believed in that type of thing, I would need to sage the room. Because the energy was just like, it's negative. Don't do it. But for a real quick second, I may have pondered on what my life would look like with another child. Oh, okay. It sounds horrible. But with a little girl, oh my gosh. I would just love to have a little person just like walking around looking just like me. But on the off chance that she does not look just like me, now I got a third kid. Is it worth it?
Wow.
Is that horrible? Is that it?
I'm not judging. This is a no judgment zone.
Okay, well,
we gonna keep it real.
The point is, I thought about it, and I'm like, would it really be that bad? Because people say all the time, like, once you have two, it's just like, okay, you have another kid, and it just gets easier each time. So I thought about it, and honestly, I don't think it would be too bad. I think I could do it, but I also think maybe I'm not thinking about it enough. And especially with these stories that people are sending in, I mean, like, I don't think I'm thinking about this enough at all. I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. They're really showing me that these are the hard questions that people need to ask. Like, maybe I don't ask enough questions. I don't know.
But also to your point about having a good feeling about a kid that looks like you, that's actually evolutionary. So there are some studies that show that like small babies look more like the father simply so that he will see himself in the experience and kind of stay around. Now, I have not like verified these studies. I'm not citing my sources. I'm just saying I do believe as a human being who has biology that theory kind of makes sense to me. It makes sense to me that you would get some satisfaction out of like seeing a small version of you in the world. Like sometimes my pitch for people having kids, even if they have no kids, is that imagine a smaller, freer version of yourself moving through the world. And it can be terrifying on one hand because we all have these insecurities and these things we haven't worked out in our own psyche. and you're like, oh my goodness, like it could come out. So if you have like deep rooted insecurity and then you see the baby feeling like nervous about something, you feel personally attacked, and like sort of like it physically, you can feel it, you know, and it can be hard. But my pitch to people is that is actually part of the human experience, is to have these mirrors. Basically, I think sometimes your kids can be mirrors to some of the different intricate parts of yourself, especially parts of yourself that you would prefer nobody see. Then you have this child that goes into the world and kind of tells on you, and everyone's like, wow, this kid has X. This kid is so, you know, vibrant in this specific way. And then you just feel naked, you feel exposed. And I think personally, I think that I advocate for it in the sense that it is a part of the human experience that everybody should have. If you can physically have that experience, I think it is extremely fascinating.
Wow.
But well, keep going.
When you
Go
put
ahead.
It like that. Well, no, I mean, when you put it like that, it's like, yeah, go ahead and have the baby. You're going to be broke. You might be broke for a little bit, but you're going to be all right.
You know what?
Y'all going to come out.
It's going to be worth it.
It's going to be so worth it.
And people have been broke before with kids. It's been fine. I mean,
people been broke all their lives.
And we had a good time. I mean, people, I think.
We had a ball.
I went to like these very fancy schools where, you know, when you're on full scholarship, they'll say, okay, these are the low income kids. And there's kind of this assumption that we would have some like deep struggle story. And to some degree, you're encouraged to create that kind of story. But I would often caveat everybody that I would talk to. I would be like, make no mistake, I had a great childhood. Like, we kicked it. Like, exactly. Sure, did we eat butter sugar sandwiches for snacks? Yes, but I personally thought that was delicious.
Exactly. There was nothing wrong with it until people came around with their preferences, and now all of a sudden I need to want steak. And well,
or just they added a tinge of a narrative to it where it was like, on the one hand, for me, I was really happy. I had all my cousins around. I was having a lot of fun all the time. And then it was not until other people kind of came into my life and said, oh, I'm so sorry you have a single mom. I was like, oh, maybe this is a negative thing.
Yeah, that's not really how I saw it, but okay, thank you.
Sorry? I mean, I love my mama. Exactly. Good. We have a good, you know, obviously I'm sure she had a hard, like, things could have been easier for her, but as kids, we was kicking it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, get back into it.
Well, no, I personally live in a stress bubble. And so I'd be like, maybe if I have another kid, we stressed out anyway. Might as well just have another one. We broke anyway. Just have another one. Either way, it's going to be a struggle.
Right.
But at the end of it, you're going to have this other kid that you get to enjoy all your life. And, you know, if you do it right, they could contribute to the come up. So,
okay, you know, let's Precious, please.
Hey,
why did you
look
point
at you?
Me? Why did you look at you? Love your family. Okay, let's look at some data, right? So the topic today is, can I afford to have another kid? According to the Pew Research Center, in the late 1970s, the average mother at the end of her childbearing years had given birth to more than 3 children. In the 80s, it was 4+. Okay? Since the 1970s, the average family size has been on the decline. Around 2014, there was a drastic shift where the 2-child family became more dominant, with 41% of moms at the end of their childbearing years having only 2 kids. Okay. Meanwhile, the share of women who only have 1 child has doubled from around 11% to 22%. Okay.
That was almost me.
According to the Lending Tree, under federal guidelines, childcare is considered affordable when it accounts for no more than 7% of your household income. Let me say it again. If your childcare is greater than 7% of your household income, it is considered unaffordable. And unfortunately, by these federal guidelines, the majority of people do not have access to affordable childcare. So the reason why I brought that statistic in is because it is directly discussed when we think about the decline in numbers. So the increase in childcare cost is directly associated with the decrease in the number of kids people are having. And so today, as we talk through, can I afford to have another kid? I think this is really important.
Oh, it's definitely important. And aside from your household income being considered, I'm wondering if there is a way to, I guess, like it wouldn't really be good because, people in childcare, they don't get paid enough already. But I'm wondering,
that's right.
You know how like in certain areas, the cost of living in general
is
lower. Different.
Yeah.
Exactly. So does that determine how much childcare is going to be as well? Or is that just one of those like universal things that's just like, this is increasing. Yeah. So and it almost needs to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think it's complicated. Maybe we should do a whole episode on why childcare is so expensive. I'm going to put a pin in that for now. But what I know, having looked at some of this data, so I used to look into this a lot, actually, especially when I was thinking about whether or not to have kids. And it turns out that the system doesn't work on both ends. So childcare workers, it's not like they're out here living in mansions. Like, their wages have been mostly stagnant as well. And so there's been, it is related to, interestingly, the housing increase. Because if you think about the infrastructure of childcare facilities, rent goes up, building costs goes up, facilities goes up, expectations of facilities has increased. So people want like a luxury or like a very nice facility. All these things cost way more now. And then when you try to balance the checkbook at a childcare facility, the cost of the infrastructure, the building, and then also the cost of the labor is going to be difficult to make work if you decrease the cost for families. So essentially it would require the government to step in and subsidize. So we'll get into that at another point. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into our story time segment. So Precious, do you have a rich mom, poor mom story to share for this week?
So, okay. When I had my first baby, we were struggling financially, and I don't really know if I want to say struggling as much because we didn't really need much. And so we were kind of living within our means. And so I always thought that we were a little less than comfortable. And so the thought of even having another child was just like crazy to me. I'm like, okay, like I don't really take him to school full time, and still I'm having to kind of look for like subsidies for this situation. So to even think about a second child was just like a non-factor. No, definitely not. And then I got pregnant. And then I got pregnant and I was freaking out. And I'm just like, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to be able to work.
I believe you called me from your car crying. Do you remember this?
I know exactly where I called you from, girl. I was at home laying in the middle of the floor crying with a baby. Well, he wasn't a baby. He was like one-ish, but he was a baby crawling all over me while I'm sobbing because I don't. Annie, I love you.
We love you so much. But it was a struggle.
With all my heart. But that was not in the plan. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, like but I mean, I would not finna have them, so I'm just like, shoot, we just gonna have to figure it out, and that's what happened. And I don't want to sound irresponsible and careless, but like really, like just do it, because now, like, I am really enjoying these kids. As
He
much
is
as we
such a
get on
sweet
each other,
boy. He
he
so sweet.
is, and like he is so like me. Like I think he might have been like he the closest thing to the little girl that I was gonna get.
Yeah.
And so like I think if I was, of course, back then, I'd be like, oh no, like if you would have gave me it, well, I'm not gonna get into that because people do have decisions.
Please. This is not
But
the
if this was in my head, it'd be like, do it, don't do it. I'd be like, no, like why would you even do that? But now I'm like, girl, do it.
Yes.
Girl, and
do
I'm
what?
glad.
Have the baby.
Have the baby.
Yeah.
Now back then, oh gosh. But now,
Yeah. Do you think that we overthink it?
I want to say, yes and no. Because I think when people are thinking about these things, they're thinking like financially and how things are going to fit into their schedule. And they don't plan. Like when those plans are being made, it's what is convenient for us, what feels right. But sometimes you may not be exposed to another option that you may have.
Yeah.
And so when you kind of just have to figure it out, then it's like, oh shoot, I didn't even think about this. Or, oh shoot, I didn't know that I had this kind of tolerance and I could deal with this. All right, it's working out. So I wouldn't say overthinking it, because I think it is valid.
Yeah.
It is definitely something to think about. But when you get forced to do it, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, never mind. I can do this. When we're planning and like budgeting for this type of life, for like an extra kid, we also need to think about, like, we're also thinking about like the emotional, like, can I afford to do this, like, mentally?
Yeah.
And then, well, like me, I didn't think I could, but when you got to reach down deep,
Yeah.
you do.
I also think we really, at least in my experience, a lot of times when we ask ourselves, do I want a baby, or do I want to have one kid or two kids or three? On my end, I made the mistake, or like I used to only think about it in terms of, do I want a baby? And I was only thinking about the phase of the baby, pretty much 0 to like 3. And the way I shifted my mindset was, I started to ask myself, when I am 50, 60 years old and all my kids are grown and I'm going around like visiting people, or I'm in the hospital. How many people do I want to see on the visitors list? When I'm in a nursing home, 0 is a really scary number for me.
Dang, that's lonely.
1 is a scary number for me, because that's a lot of responsibility. You got to come see me and your daddy. And he's stubborn.
Wait, where did that? Y'all ain't in the same place?
We could be in a nursing home together. But I'm just saying, like, at least if I'm in the hospital, he in a nursing home, it's 2 of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about future life. Even the fun parts, right? Like, when this is a social thing for older women. Like with my mom, when she goes to the grocery store, they see older ladies and they be like, oh, how's it going? Oh, yeah, just had another grandkid. Yeah. And then there's other women, they be like, oh, no grandkids yet. Oh, sucks to suck. That is like quite literally the vibe. Like they be like, oh, look at my baby. She just had one. This is like a social thing. I'm not saying you should have kids just so you can brag about having grandkids, but I'm just saying y'all are not thinking about how this is gonna play out.
I really don't be thinking about how my kids affect my life when I'm old.
think about everybody talking to, like, what if in, 20 years I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, what y'all doing this weekend? We driving up to Stanford. We gonna fly over to Stanford to see, him play soccer or something. I personally would be a little bit jealous of that. I would be like, wait, your kids are playing sports in college? Like, oh, I'm gonna drive down to Morehouse for the graduation. Like, I feel like this is like, there's a lot about experiencing life from the parent's perspective that is like further away than just can I afford to have a small baby in my house right now?
Wow. See, I didn't think about that. That is a very good point. You know what I think about when my kids grow up?
What?
How I'm gonna be outside.
Girl.
That's the only thing. Like when they grow up, like
you get your
freedom.
life back.
I didn't think about the fact that like I'm gonna like have people to visit and things to do and like wow.
I think about I played
maybe I want another kid.
I played a rugby game in Alabama, Mobile, Alabama, and my grandma drove down with her best friends, and it was like a time. Talk about being outside. Like, one, it was an amazing feeling for me. Like, everybody was like, who are those ladies? Like, they came, they were very proud, and it was like, go. They didn't even know what rugby was. They were just like, she's playing football or something.
That's my baby.
I just remember it was just so nice. And I'm just like, I can imagine that was a girls trip for them, talk about girls trips. Like, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's a version of adulthood that's coming that is going to be enriched by having adult children.
Wow. I really like that. Y'all go have them kids.
Y'all have the babies.
You convinced me.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll tell my story for the week. So I was entering the final semester of my PhD. And the stressful part about going into the quote unquote final semester is it's a scary thing to claim. So when you're in a PhD program, you have to defend your work to a committee of experts, and then they have to declare you to be an expert and a doctor. And so this is possibly one of the most stressful and nerve-wracking things I have ever had to do personally, because I took this very seriously. I respect all the members of my committee. And there's this psychological game that they play where you're not really allowed, you're not really supposed to claim that any type of confidence around passing your defense until the minute that you pass. So on the one hand, even your main advisor, who is, the head of your committee, who puts you up and says, okay, you can go ahead and defend your work. The thinking is, okay, your advisor would only give you the green light to defend if they know you will pass the defense. But they cannot, the culture, at least in the department that I was in, is that they cannot in any way, shape, or form affirm that for you. So like every time I was in a meeting with my advisor, he would be like, we'll see. Let's see. And so this is just to set the scene that this is a very stressful period of my life, and this is the final stretch. So, if you're running a race, this is the last 10 meters where you really got to push it. I have to push myself to the max. I wake up one morning feeling a little bit queasy, and I go to the bathroom and I realize that I am pregnant. And this is in the middle of me being in this time of preparing for my defense, trying to finalize my PhD. And it was terrifying, but it was also, I was super grateful because I had done this manifestation thing of sorts where I had kind of told everybody that I was going to be pregnant at my defense. It was a joke. It was a joke. And everyone responded to it as like, stop playing around, Jamelle. This is so serious. Like, you need to take this seriously. This is not right. You know, like, it was almost like that would be too much for anybody. So we even joked with my girlfriends. They were like, you can get pregnant the night of your defense, but that's it. Like, you cannot do this. But I had, again, remember, my vision comes not from looking at the math in terms of the childcare, right? My vision was coming from looking forward, me in a nursing home, how many people on the visiting list, right? I'm having another baby. That was my mindset. So I speak things into existence. So I had told people, look, like, it is what it is. I'm getting older. It's good. We're going to figure it out. And it was one of the most stressful times of my life. I was interviewing for jobs. I did not get a job offer until well, okay, let me say this. I did not sign my job offer until the weekend of graduation. So that was after I had already defended. You know, the job market was really tough. Okay, I know a lot of people who are listening right now, the job market is tough right now. I was also in a tough job market. And guess what? I had a lot of faith. And I don't have a logical analysis around the timing, around how I was going to manage childcare. I had no plan. Okay. And, but I was grateful to be able to, you know, be blessed in this way. Like, I had a reasonable time go ahead and conceiving, and I was going to just go with it. So yes, you remember at my defense, I was chugging ginger ale and sparkling water. Precious was amazing and literally brought me breakfast because I was so nauseous the day that I had to do this presentation. Okay. And we got it done. Okay.
That was day.
I'm sharing that.
That's crazy.
I'm just sharing that to say, like, of course it was, I don't have any I have no justification for why I did this. I'm making no recommendation in terms of whether or not someone else should do it, but it worked out well for me. And baby girl is really great, great addition to the family. So that's my story for the week.
That's lovely. Just vibes.
Just vibes.
That may be the resounding answer, like, just vibe. So let's get into the Get It How You Live segment, where we hear from real people. If you're listening right now, please write into Rich Mom Poor Mom to join the conversation. Email us at richmompoormom.pod@gmail.com. Let's get into the letter for today. Mm-hmm. The letter is from Chloe. She says, Dear Rich Mom Poor Mom, my name is Chloe. I live in a Chicago suburb with my husband and our 19-month-old daughter. We're both scientists and moved here after our PhDs for a lower cost of living and to be closer to his family. Our joint household income is $200,000 now and will increase beyond $240,000 this year. Moving here has been amazing. I feel incredibly supported in this phase of my life. My job is no longer a pressure cooker. Daycare gives me the energy I need to fully engage with my child, and we've never used a babysitter who isn't a family member. More than all of that, my husband is an equal partner in marriage. Oof, amen. And parenting. We communicate very well, and we are both genuinely enjoying the experience of watching our daughter blossom into who she is. We've also made significant progress towards a sustainable lifestyle with weekly family meetings and a newly stable financial configuration, and are still deeply in love after 9.5 years together. Oh my, I'm gonna cry. While it certainly had its challenges, I love our little family and the life we've built. This feels like my happily ever after. Our biggest question right now is whether to try for another baby. The obvious emotional answer is yes. I wanted a baby my whole life and it's exceeded expectations. However, I can't shake the feeling that having another baby would ruin our lives. I'm worried about burnout. I went through a period before I was married where work was too much pressure and I had to take a leave. Real people now depend on me and my income. I'm terrified that an unpredictable pregnancy, then then a newborn on top of toddler care would shatter my mental health, my ability to keep my job, and most importantly, my ability to enjoy motherhood. I also don't understand how people make it work financially. We've made $2,000 a month daycare work comfortably, but $4,000 a month would throw us right back into living above our means. Question: is it possible, one, to have a life with more than one kid that feels genuinely sustainable and joyful rather than overwhelming? Two, how are other people doing this? Three, people with far less money and resources make two kids work. Am I missing something? Signed, Chloe. I love this.
Go
It's
ahead,
like a
Chloe.
love story. I love this so much.
9.5 years, still in love.
This is a huge accomplishment. This is huge. Like, that is a lot of work. And I completely understand why you would be freaking out about the idea of having another kid, because this is just like, my life is perfect right now. Yes, I want to have another one, but like, we might be right on the edge. I don't want to mess it up. And this, do you think this could be like that overthinking? Because all of her points seem pretty valid.
Yeah, I'm going to say, first of all, short answer, have the baby. Do it. Go for the second baby.
Have the baby.
Chloe, you said you both have PhDs, so we're going to get into it, okay? Here's the thing. People are doing this and figuring this out. You in Chi-Town, somebody in Chicago got some affordable childcare for you, okay? You need to find it, okay? Go to the neighborhoods and find aunties. You have to put that work in. So let me tell you a story, Chloe. I'm going to try to make it quick. Remember, I didn't plan for this second baby, right? And I needed some affordable childcare because my husband was like, where is this money coming from? Why did you, do this? And I decided I was going to drive around Atlanta and figure it out, because I said to myself, y'all are scamming me if you think I'm about to pay $2,500 a month in Georgia, okay? And I was like, I think they're taking advantage of, y'all have PhDs. I personally believe that private equity companies are backing childcare facilities. Once that happens, something's up, okay? They are exploiting the fact that overly educated parents and anxious parents are wanting to see a curriculum. When we walked into the daycares in Cambridge and they were talking about their amazing curriculum for infants, we walked out of the daycare. My husband looked at me and he was like, wow, what is tummy time? Because this sounds like it must be something so sophisticated. I said, they're going to put the baby on their stomach and let them sit there for a while. He was like, what? That's what we're going to be paying $3,000 a month for? I'm like, yes, yes. So hear me when I say that it is not a conspiracy, that people are targeting anxious, high performing and high salary couples to try to prey on your anxiety and convince you that you need X, you need this, you need to be thinking about how your kid is going to get into private school even when the kid is 3 months old, okay? Cut it out, cut through the noise. BS, okay? Here's what you need to do. You drive around the city, okay? You talk to some neighbors. There are stay-at-home moms who will take the baby for a few hours a day. And guess what? If you are a part of a faith community, okay, start organizing in your community and tell them, hey, our church community, hey, y'all might not have it right now, but can the children's church open up during the week? What are y'all doing during the week with these facilities? Can we get a couple of these, teenagers or young women who need jobs? Can we get a couple of them up in here in the children's church throughout the week to go ahead and watch these kids? So what I would suggest is that locally we need to take action and really demand affordable childcare. You do not have to accept $4,000 a month. Don't
Yeah,
do
that's
it.
wild.
So the story I was going to tell was I went driving around, and I can say this because this is not the daycare we ended up going with. I found Reddit threads around affordable childcare in Atlanta. there was one thread that mentioned a facility, and I went to the facility's website, and the website said that this organization was for women of color and for lower income communities. So I saw this and I immediately thought, okay, Jamelle, you need to know your privilege. This is not a resource for you. You need to be very careful and intentional about how you navigate this. So I said to myself, at least I got to go check it out because this sounds unreal. It's about $1,000 a month, full-time childcare, high quality childcare in one of the best neighborhoods in Atlanta. One of the most expensive neighborhoods in Atlanta. Most people cannot afford to live there. The people who I know who live there, they have California tech salaries and they live in Atlanta. Okay, let's tell the truth today. So I drive over to this daycare for a tour. And I'm nervous. I believe I called you and I told you, Precious, I'm going to hold myself accountable. If I walk in there and this is really affordable childcare facility, I am not even going to put an application in. This is a resource for the community. Let's see. I walked into that daycare and I was like, wow, this is really nice. First thing I noticed, almost no Black kids in the daycare. Okay. This is Atlanta. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is Atlanta, okay? The other thing I noticed, I started talking to people. I said all the childcare workers were women of color, right? I start talking to people. I'm like, hey, so where are all the kids? Where are all these kids? Do people just drop off? Because it was a weird way that you had to kind of drive into it. I said, do people usually drive up like this? They said actually most of the kids who go here, they walk to this daycare facility. Immediately, I'm looking around at the housing prices. You cannot get a house for less than $800,000 in this neighborhood. And most people are spending millions. So I'm like, wait a minute. I thought this was
advertised to who?
I thought this was for women of color, and I also thought this was serving low income families. So I asked them at the front, right? I'm like, hey, so how does the wait list work? How does the application work? Are you going to need my income? What's the cutoff? No income check, nothing. Well, can I be added to the wait list? Sure, but there's no actual list. They might call you in May. They're like, actually, the parents kind of run everything. The parents in the neighborhood have this place on lock. And to be fair, good for them, right? Just because they may be high earning individuals who have $1 million houses does not mean they don't deserve affordable childcare. 100%. I believe everyone deserves affordable childcare. But immediately what I realized was, hold up, they figured something out. A lot of people in Atlanta who have lower incomes do not have access to this level of childcare. Or maybe they do. So I started riding around. I found La Iglesia, which was one place that had a lot of Hispanic families. And I found a lot of different places by literally just going around and talking to people. A lot of these places didn't have websites. Bottom line is, you have a PhD, you can find you some affordable childcare in Chicago. And I guarantee you that it can be high quality. And the truth is, you really have to ask yourself, Chloe, imagine everybody who makes on average what most people make in the Midwest, and ask yourself, how are they affording childcare? Where are their kids going every day? And find out, because that's what I said. I said, there's no way you're telling me that you're not going to convince me that people are paying this. So basically, I didn't end up getting. So the crazy thing is, I couldn't get off the wait list at this place. They didn't call me back. They didn't email me. It was just like, clearly this is not for me. This is only for people in this neighborhood. This is a very wealthy neighborhood, and that was the lowest childcare that I found. And so mine is even a little bit more, but it's a church. So I believe that oftentimes, because of the infrastructural costs, because people end up paying a lot of rent for businesses. If you have a situation where it's a community building like a church or some place that doesn't have to charge you a lot of rent, they then can make the numbers work and give you some affordable childcare. So that was a long way of saying, yes, you should have a baby. I do think you're overthinking it a little bit in terms of ruining your lives. I think this is a little bit catastrophizing. I would probably estimate that you're going to have an adjustment period. So if you count a year of being pregnant and then a year of the baby getting to one, you're going to have, on average 2 to 3 years of an adjustment period to this baby. And that will be difficult. That may be trying on your mental health. That may be trying on your job. But the truth is, at $200,000 a year, y'all can make this work. Okay.
You could definitely make this work. And I feel what you're saying about the burnout. But that might also play into, how the child care works out maybe. And then also, I guess, not really overthinking it, but starting to plan for that transition period. Prepare for the transition period mentally. So like you said before, like looking towards the future, the long-term goals. This right now, this hard period that people really think of when they think of having another kid, it's temporary.
It's temporary.
And so I don't I feel like you are starting at a really good place.
Amazing. Please. This is a healthy household with a good income, great education level, and a lot of love. All I'm hearing from this letter is a lot of love. Do you know how many kids in the world could use that? So consider everything. Consider having the baby. Consider adopting, fostering. I'm sure there's plenty of kids in Chicago that could use some connection with a household like this. I would just zoom out and, like I said before, think longer term. Chloe, you and your husband have an amazing marriage. It sounds like an amazing dynamic. When y'all are 50 or 60 in some rocking chairs or just like walking down the street, your life is slowing down a little bit. What do you see? What do you envision? One, how many visitors you want on the nursery on the the nursing home list? How many visitors?
See, and really put that on the post-it and put it on the mirror, because that is all I would be thinking about.
I don't want to sound like I don't know how hard this is going to be for you. It is going to be hard. And guess what? When you're sitting and I don't know your religion, but opening up Christmas gifts with the 2 or 3 kids running around, child, come on. You can't pay for that. Yeah. I would give another 2 years for that easy. Come on.
If you are loving it now, like when you have another one, it's just like, it's like the love just multiplies.
The love between the babies, even when they're like wrestling and yelling at each other, it's like it's a nice sound in the house. Like I feel like
it is.
I feel a little bit nervous when it's too quiet. So my baby girl was sick for like a week and she was just silent. And we had gotten so annoyed by her crying and screaming all the time. But during that time of like sickness, we were all like, come on, say something, and she didn't say anything. And when she started feeling better, we all woke up at like 5:30 to her yelling, and it was a beautiful thing. I had never been so happy to hear a baby yelling in my life.
She be chilling though.
She does. One of the things I did want to do, do you want to go ahead and read a couple? So I actually posed this question to social media so people could weigh in. So the question I asked was just, how are people managing paying for daycare with multiple kids? So if you want to go through and read a couple of these. So Oats XOX says, once you have more than one, it can be cheaper to get a nanny. My 2 are leaving daycare in March and will have a nanny. If we have a third, her cost stays the same instead of paying for daycare. She continued on because I asked a follow-up question, and she said her cost will be $2,500 a month, and they're going to have Monday through Thursday full-time.
They do be having little discounts, don't they?
I actually think it depends, but yeah, I think if you have a relationship with someone, so like a nanny or an au pair can become really valuable to a family with 2 or 3 kids, young kids. The au pair program is also something to look into. I have friends who have done it. Are you familiar with this, Precious?
No, I did. I'm only familiar with the term because of you.
Oh, what?
You.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, just briefly, it's a program, an exchange program where people can come to the U.S. and it's like a cultural exchange. You expose them to
Oh.
American culture, and they help with the children, but they also end up like going to activities and like building relationships in the community. It's a pretty cool program, and I've seen it work out very well. Of course, there's always a caveat that there are cases where things don't work out well, but like I promise you, like it's worth considering.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. Okay. Uh,
So,
yeah. Go ahead.
Kyra Chanel says, I'm in Oakland, California. I was paying $16.50 a month for 3 days a week for my 6-month-old. Full time was like $2,200 a month for infant care. Toddler care was like $1,800 a month full time. I couldn't imagine paying $4,000 a month in daycare plus our $3,000 rent. So no, we will not be having any more kids.
Kyra said no.
Absolutely not.
Oakland, California. That's a lot. That's a lot.
$3,000 rent.
That's a lot. Okay, someone else says, and I didn't say your username because I didn't know if you wanted to share it, but it says, I go through an agency that helps me pay for it, and I pay a copay every month with my co parent. So I said, I'd never heard of this. Like, can you expand? She says, it's an agency rooted in government assistance where they have all kinds of programs and resources for moms and families. I think it was to help families in extreme poverty, but seeing as how the middle class is being erased, they widened the salary gap, and now I fall under it to get assistance. I don't think it's nationwide. They serve different regions, but worth considering. So I guess the other
That
thing to look into is, I guess, similar to the story I told, which is there's places that, now, to be fair, I don't want all these rich people going and taking the affordable childcare. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, regardless of your background, your socioeconomic status, you do deserve affordable childcare. So look into the government programs and apply and see if they have something that actually will help you, because I had never heard of anything like this, and it sounds like it actually is available to middle class families. And they're in Illinois. So let me know if you want me to send you the link, Chloe.
send me the link. Another person says, we have one kid and it's not even worth me working if I put him in daycare. If we have another, I'm going in knowing I'll be the primary parent at home full time.
Yeah.
I
That's
like
a
that too.
That's a very common way to think about it. That's a lot of women's reality. I knew there were some women at the Mommy and Me class that I went to at a local place here in Atlanta, and a couple of them had paused their jobs so that they could take care of their second baby. So that's an option. I don't know. People do it.
Okay, y'all, we need your help. For our Get It How You Live segment, please send us an email and tell us how you living. Make sure to include your individual and household income. We will make sure to give you a fake name unless you specify not to. Then we may read the letter out loud on the show. If you need some inspo, here are some upcoming topics: friendships as parents, navigating mean girls or sisterhood, career advancements as moms, making the most of maternity leave. Before we close out, let's take a moment for gratitude. Jamelle, what are you grateful for this week?
Thank you, Precious. I am grateful for perspective. So I won't go into the details, but I was recently learning about something called the drama triangle, where people get themselves into these narratives with three characters: the victim, the villain, and the hero. So it's like a triangle of drama that sometimes people can create in their minds. And it's really been helping me process some of the dynamics that I experienced with uh, past relationships, and then also some sort of loose connections that I have. So I'm just really grateful for people who do that kind of psychological analysis to help all of us make sense of the world, because I just find those analysis like fascinating. So yeah, Precious, what are you grateful for this week?
Well, in light of the topic that we're talking about, I am grateful for all of these programs that are being offered to families. These subsidies can really help. They make a huge difference, and I am grateful that I got a chance to take advantage of it. And I love to spread the word because I want everyone to benefit.
Amen.
Thank y'all for listening to Rich Mom, Poor Mom. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it so they know they're not alone. Please show us some love by leaving a review and subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And leave a comment or send an email to keep the conversation going. We'll see you next time on Rich Mom, Poor Mom.